The feds pulled up to Glorilla's concert because they're trying to find the whereabouts of Yo Gotti. They're trying to get the information about Yo Gotti through his workers because they want to indict him for setting up Young Dolph. If y'all want the justice for Young Dolph and you rockin' with Dolph, go ahead, let me know where you're from in the comment section. Put the Dolph emoji and put LLYD, long live Young Dolph, and find out what happens by subscribing to this channel and watching the whole video. So the feds snuck into Glorilla's concert. They already had the security in on it. As soon as the DJ started playing, when she came out, they hit the whole stage lights and turned everything off. All you start seeing is these flashlights coming out the crowd. They start climbing the ladder and get on stage. They detain Glorilla and put her in the backstage. They start asking the promoter, the managers, the DJ, everybody that's right there with CMG. They trying to find out, where's Yo Gotti? Call Yo Gotti right now. Give me Yo Gotti's number. Because they're trying to pretty much keep tabs on him right now because they think that he's going to go on the run because he's about to be indicted for the Young Dolph. Like, they're trying to solve this case and they got everybody looking, all eyes on them. And so there's a lot of pressure right now from Memphis, MPD, all the prosecutors and the detectives to get this solved because they know for a fact that Young Dolph had a beef with Yo Gotti. Everything is documented and the sources are saying that this all stemmed from Yo Gotti being jealous of Young Dolph, overreacting, and then sending the goons, the street guys, to get Dolph taken out. They knew his they worked with like the cookie shop and everything to find out where Dolph was going to be exactly at what time. So that's why they even got the cookie shop people under surveillance, because they know that they had connections and ties with Yo Gotti. The phone calls got released of what everybody talked on the phone with each other right before Young Dolph was tragically set up, man, and it all draws them together. Like, they have the bulletin board connecting Yo Gotti to Big Jook, how Big Jook and Govan went to Makita's Cookies and to the actual place Dolph was interviewed at where they took his keys. And so when Yo Gotti's cousin was seen in that footage at the treatment center where they took Dolph's keys, the last place he did the interview, this was Yo Gotti's cousin. It got confirmed, and this is when the investigators started to pretty much cover the tracks on how this all happened, because they know it was an ongoing issue between CMG and PRE, specifically between Yo Gotti and Young Dolph, because this is something that's been going on for many, many years, and now they're really trying to get to the bottom of it and solve it all, because Memphis is in ruins. It's a mess. Ever since Dolph was gone, people been acting crazy, man. Nobody's in line no more. It's no role models to look up to. The streets are a mess, man, and they trying to clean it up, and they know that those young dudes out there, they're trying to get the impressions of Yo Gotti. If they can impress Yo Gotti by being bad in the streets and showing that they're the next hitter, that they should get hired by him and to set somebody else up, it's a bad look on the whole entire community. And the whole entire community of Memphis, they sick and tired of Yo Gotti. They sick and tired of all the actions from CMG, all the people, Black Youngster, moneybaggyo, his baby mama, and everybody that's basically been out acting a fool in the streets of Memphis, making everybody look bad, as if the whole city of Memphis is acting like that. There's a lot of people who's basically like, man, they need to get the justice for Young Dolph, because nothing has been the same since. Nobody came and gave back to the kids. Nobody did no turkey drives. The holidays was sad and slow, and everybody had no motion basically. And so now they starting to realize that all that was basically caused by Yo Gotti, his brother, and Govan Hernandez. And so this is why they're coming after them. The feds, they're very, very close right now, and they're really just steps away from pulling a move on Yo Gotti. They know that they have an indictment. They have a clear-cut and dry case against like whoever it is that did this to Young Dolph. They're gonna find him, they're gonna catch him, and they're doing it one by one. They're not trying to rush in this, because 9 times out of 10 the feds have a 99% success rate, and they wait until they get all of the footage, the witnesses, and every single piece of documentation or evidence against the perpetrators. And this is why they're gonna get the justice for Young Dolph. After a lot of time of viewing everything and paying close attention, y'all already know that it really comes down to that footage. That footage needs to be released. The cookie shop been holding on to it for way too long, and they showed their friends, they texted it around to all the workers in the cookie shop to show them this is what happened, make sure you get the story straight. They try to say that they basically try to cover for the owner of the cookie shop, because he was already inside and everything. Allegedly he picked up Young Dolph and dragged him to the front lobby by the window and placed him there. And so this is where basically when they interviewed the workers inside the shop, one of the girls named Cookie Cookie Raven. Cookie Raven was talking all kinds of stuff. She was basically snitching on the whole crew, saying that yeah, they was all inside the shop and seen it happen, and they was recording it, and they was trying to help Dolph up, and he couldn't get up and all this stuff. She was telling all these stories as if they were right there and seen everything happen. But then when the people came and was like, yeah, can you help and assist and cooperate with this? Can you help get the justice for Young Dolph? They didn't want to get no justice for Young Dolph. They didn't like Young Dolph like that enough to help him to get the justice after somebody had just came and set him up on their property. And so this is why everybody started cutting off the cookie shop, because they knew they must have had something to do with it. If the cookie girl was already saying, pledging her allegiance and ties to Yo Gotti, saying that if she becomes a part of CMG, then her dreams are true. She never was with Dolph. Like, these people never was actually supporters of Dolph, and so it's no surprise that they actually went along with Yo Gotti, Govana, and Big Juke's plan to take Dolph out at that spot. And so this is why they basically gave them that big lump sum amount of money in that donation. They donated over $150,000 to the cookie shop for playing a part in this whole entire thing, because they had to have it go down at their spot. They basically played their role. They listened to what Yo Gotti said. They basically locked Dolph in there and everything like that. Let the owner move him to the front, and then they basically told the news once they got caught. Like, basically going back on their story and changing the things that happened. They started changing all the stuff that they said. First they said it was inside, then they said outside. They said the owner was there and he literally held Dolph up. Then they said he wasn't even in the place. He was on his way to work. And so this is where the contradicting stories end up pretty much biting them all in the back, because now the investigators started to realize that the cookie shop, they probably trying to cover for Yo Gotti and Govan and all of the people that basically had the beef with Young Dolph. And so when you go and look at it, a lot of people, man, you can't trust them, because even though Dolph was the king of Memphis and a lot of people have respect for him, once they put the money on his head, everything went out the window. It's no loyalty, just like how it's no loyalty to with the dudes that's telling on Yo Gotti right now. The guys who they caught for it, the fall guys, the chess pieces, they basically ended up telling on Yo Gotti and his brother and everything like that, because they didn't want to do the time. So when they was offered the money to go get Dolph, they didn't care about Dolph being the king of Memphis and how he was helping the community. And then the same thing happened again when the feds got them and they asked them to cooperate against Yo Gotti. They didn't care about the money Yo Gotti gave them and the help that he gave them. They went ahead and told, because this is how they're going to get themselves at the situation. So everybody is selfish in this whole thing. There is no loyalty in the streets. There's none of that. That stuff ended back in the 1980s. And so everybody got to realize at the end of the day that you have to keep your head on the swivel. You can't trust nobody, especially in your own city or anywhere that you go. And to be the ones around you that'll get you lined up and backdoored. And this is a sad situation, and everybody's looking at it in Memphis that this should have never happened. This could have been clearly avoided. They said Dolph should have came to town with a whole SWAT security team, because at the end of the day, all of the rappers, when they come back to their own city, this is where they end up having something happen to them. They either get robbed, they have to check in, their chain gets snatched, the concert gets ran up on, anything like that happens. And so the reason why the feds ran up on the Glorilla concert is because they know that Glorilla switched sides from Young Dolph to Yo Gotti. So they're trying to get the inside details of the whole operation of how Yo Gotti's working and everything like that, because they know Glorilla has the details on the beef between Yo Gotti and Young Dolph. And basically the alleged story has it that they told Glorilla to switch to Yo Gotti because they was already telling her they was planning on taking Dolph out, and they didn't want to have her get caught up in the mix of this and the limelight and everything like that, because she the female artist and she's the newer faces of the next generation in Memphis and everything like that. She was literally taking pictures in the gym with Young Dolph at the meet and greet. He autographed her items and everything like that. He was very nice to her and hospitable to her whole entire family. He was about to sign Glorilla. Then this is when Yo Gotti hurried up and tried to get everybody to go with him instead, and they already were trying to set up things to basically ruin opportunities for Young Dolph, and they were like, you know what, we can't beat him and everything like that. So this is when they decided to take the cowardly way out and try to get him lined up and set up and everything, but they all getting caught for it red-handed, and it's basically the karma coming back on him.